Hey there YouTube, TJY Productions here. Today I'm going to show you how to program a locomotive based off what I think is standard when you take a new DCC locomotive straight out of the box. I reprogrammed this one to be what should be industry setting default, which is a locomotive ID of 3. So if we head over here to my panel, I'm going to hit Loco, do O3, hit Loco again, and you'll be able to see that this locomotive responds to address 3. So, we're going to fix that. Basically, all you'll need, I use a programming track, which is the one here on the far right. Although you don't really have to. You can do it on the main track. You'll just have to take all the other locomotives off, or else it'll reprogram all of them. And I wouldn't imagine that's very fun. So we're going to use the programming track. The other thing you're going to need is a CV calculator, which is configurable variable, something like that, configuration variables. I'm using the Digitrax toolbox app. Really cool. And you just go to CV calculators, and the ones we're going to focus on are 17 and 18 and 29. But first, we're going to set this up with the address. So to start, we have our locomotive on the program track. So we're going to hit program. We're going to make sure this is on direct because we're using a program track. All these other ones I think are for the main. We're using a program track, which is going to keep it isolated to there. So next thing we're going to do is program the address. We do this by hitting the loco key. And because I want to use a 4-digit address, I'm going to go to add 4, which is for 4-digit address, and type in what I want it to be. And then I'm going to hit this key down here, the CV-WR, stands for CV write. And if we hit that, it'll flash. So now, if we exit out of programming mode and go back, we can hit add 4 and click this one, the CV read. And hit that, and it'll flash, and it should read back the address that we've programmed. That's how you know it's working. So I hit exit. Now we're going to program our CVs. The first one we're going to do is 17 and 18. So pull up the calculator here. This one's for the locomotive address, and I'm going to do 5624 and hit calculate, and it will pull up CV17 is 213 and CV18 is 248. So with that in mind, I'm just going to keep those off to the side for reference here. Going back to the programming track. This time we're going to hit steps or CV and enter the CV value or the CV code you're looking for. So here we're going to do 17 first. And if you hit the CV button again, it'll change to a D, which shows you're writing that, and we're going to switch that to 213 and hit the CV write. Then we're going to go back to CV, and we're going to do the same thing for 18. Hit CV again, and this time we're going to do 248. 248, CV write. So if you want to double check that, you can hit CV. We'll check 17, we'll do read. 213 is correct. We'll do CV18 again. CV read. 248. Both of those are correct. The next one, which will program some other things, is going to be CV29. Configuration register is what this one is. Different things, speed control. We're going to use the advanced. We're going to use a 4-digit address. You leave this on, it will run on non-DCC layouts, which doesn't really matter unless you're like me and you had a DC layout, which I think is why it didn't reset after 10 years. Direction of travel, forward, that's the way the decoder's wired. Speed table, something else you can mess with. If you go to the very bottom, if you change it, you'll see it just updates. But we're looking at CV29 is going to be the value of 38. Usually that's pretty standard. I know both my other locomotives, I believe, are CV 38 for that. So we're going to hit CV29, CV again, and we're going to do 38, and we're going to write that. So we can go back 29 and read 38, 17 is, wait, I may have just messed that up. Yeah. So I'm going to go back to my 17, 18. This is 17, should be 213, CV right. Read is 213, 18, 248. CV 18, read is 248, and CV 29, read is 38. That's all correct. So if we exit out of the programming mode, we'll go ahead and put our locomotives back on the rails. The rear headlight is on because when I took it off on address 3 it was in reverse. It remembers that. And if I switch to locomotive address 3, it no longer responds to address 3. But if we do loco 5624, hit loco again, if I flip this into forward, headlights come on, she runs. Whoops. So that is how you program a locomotive. Oh, and derail one too. This section of track is probably going to get replaced. It always gives me so many problems. Like the short right there. Thank you. So that's how you program decoders straight out of the box. I'm 99% sure they're all standard to that. Whether it's an older decoder or a newer decoder, they should all work pretty much the same. If for whatever reason you have one that doesn't work, like this guy, I've been having problems with him. It should be default 03 because I haven't programmed it yet. I'm going to hit program, add 2 and read, and it's going to flash and flash and flash until it tells me DNR, which means it can't read the decoder. It's really dumb because there's a decoder in there. So if you get this error, there's a problem, it needs to be checked out. And we can try again to add 4, which might come up, but it doesn't look like that's going to happen. So, whatever. The other ones work just fine. So, hopefully you won't end up with this. Instead, you'll get a response out of it, and your locomotives will run like so. So, with that being said, happy model railroading. Enjoy your DCC and your new reprogrammed locomotive. Hopefully this tutorial tutorial was helpful to most all of you, as I know it was for me when I watched the same one by someone else. So hopefully I can pass the favor on a little bit. So we'll see you around. Bye.